This playthrough is rated M for mature.
Sinless, sinless, sinless. Greetings and salutations, viewers. While I'm back here with another episode of Shadowrun Hong Kong. In the last episode, we went into the walled city, helped that little job for Kainu Cheng there. She used her, apparently the chip that she gave us was a threat to Strangler Bao, and yeah, fell to her convincing argument. So now we're back in town, and now we gotta talk to her. We'll become sinless, and this will all be washed over, and we'll be able to come back to Seattle for a bit of booze in the morning. A large X fashioned from overlapping stripes of peeling duct tape. Interesting. Oh. Does anyone have anything new to say before we head on to Ching? All said, members only, shove off. Alright. I guess we should just go to Kainu Cheng then, so. Alright, yeah, I don't think anyone has anything to say, and we could do all this stuff, but for the most part, we'll just go on. Go talk to the madam again, and get on with it. We'll have time to talk to everyone afterwards, so. Alright, we did what you said. You know, we took care of we were your delivery boys, so. Alright, now what? How does this work? Kainu Cheng watches you closely as you walk across the mahjong parlor. As you approach her, her lieutenant leans in, brings her mouth close to the triad boss's ear. Cheng smiles and nods, her eyes never leaving you. There's a twinkle in the straw sandal's eyes. I've heard from Bao. He got my message very clearly, and I understand that there were no casualties created during your little delivery run. I am pleased and surprised. Now, other than being a story thing, there actually is an achievement. If you go through the whole thing without killing any of the Yellow Lotus, I think you get it as soon as you get back, but I don't remember exactly when, but you do get an achievement for, I think it's called They're Not Worth It or something like that. So for those who are 100%ing completionists, there you go. So yeah, Isabel did a great job guiding us. A wide grin. She did. Good to know. My message was delivered, and Strangler Bao is back in the fold, earning for me. As far as I'm concerned, our transaction is complete. While you were gone, I set the wheels in motion to wipe your identities. She pulls out her PDA, stabs a button with a lacquered fingernail. The order has been sent. Congratulations, you are now sinless, shadow people. Wu exhales heavily. His eyes remain focused straight ahead, but his shoulders sag. I guess that's done. Yeah, I guess so, but I'm not. Wu pulls himself up to his full height. Whoever gave the kill order on Carter also forced us to give up our identities and took Raymond. Wu sets his jaw firm. That's all I can think about. Finding who did this. Finding Ray. Kainu Cheng holds up a hand. While I was working to get you your sins burned, I also had my network look into Raymond Black's disappearance. I've been thinking about what you told me earlier, and I agree. She eyes the room carefully and leans in. I can't let this lie. Someone killed my runners. It would be a sign of weakness to Yellow Lotus and others if I do nothing. She rests her PDA on the mahjong table facing you. The triad boss's tongue slips from her mouth as she looks over the top, hunting for the right button on its upside-down interface. She finds it and looks up at you again. I have news to share with you, my darlings, the kind you won't like. Raymond Black is dead. Dun dun dun! She taps the button and a recorded newscast appears on the screen. Raymond's photograph appears on the screen behind a reporter standing on the dock in Victoria Harbor. It's a picture you've seen before, a professional portrait taken for a press release about a youth center he's opening in the Redmond Barrens. Under Raymond's photo are the words, Seattle man, killed. Another shooting involving the police department. A Seattle community organizer and industrial engineer was apparently shot and killed while resisting arrest at Victoria Harbor last night. HKPF police report that the UCAS man, Raymond Black, was behaving erratically and would not respond to police orders to surrender. No additional information regarding Black or why he was traveling to Hong Kong are available. Police have stated that due to the shooting's proximity to last night's shootout with the White Star, the investigation must remain confidential and no other details are being revealed at this time. Kainu Cheng taps the button again and the video closes. Wu puts his hand to his face. This just keeps getting worse. It definitely isn't getting any better. Raymond's dead. Wu puts his hand over his mouth, trying to process the information. He sways, and for a moment it looks as if he's going to pass out. Isabel reaches out to touch Wu, thinks better of it, and pulls her hand back. Sorry for your loss. I never had a father, so I don't know what it's like to lose one, but sorry. You okay, Duncan? I don't think so. I don't think I'm going to be okay for a long time, Pikel. Kindly taps the video closed. She hunts around the keypad and selects another button. I'm afraid that's not all, my darlings. This is security footage from Victoria Harbor from last night. You'll find it contains a contradiction. The PDA shows silent, grainy video footage of Raymond sitting in a tea shop flanked by 2 guards. He's looking down at something in his hands, completely distracted. The footage continues, and the camera displays several black-clad figures entering its field of view and from different angles, guns ready. A tall, sharply dressed man in a suit walks briskly towards Raymond, flanked by the 2 more. Raymond stands to face him, and the camera gets a clear view of the suit's face, white plastic. His guards turn to draw weapons, and muzzle flashes erupt from all sides. One of Raymond's guards go down, and his submachine gun fires wildly, hitting the camera. Wu puts his hands on the table and leans in. Those weren't cops, and Raymond wasn't resisting arrest. What's up with that guy's face? Gobbet reaches up to stroke the rat perched on his shoulder. Is that a mask? It doesn't look like a mask. It looks like some sort of semi-rigid plastic implant. Real craftsmanship. She pushes out her lower lip in appreciation. Quite the fashion accessory. It's also the kind of fashion accessory that stands out in a crowd. This guy's either a fool or an arrogant son of a bitch. He sets his jaw firm. Either way, I'm going to find him. Kindly Cheng watches Wu intently. I believe you. Wu stands back and turns to you. What now? Well, we find the plastic man, drag him somewhere private, make him dig his own hole, then we fill it. Cheng's eyes sparkle. I like the way you think. That is exactly what I would do. But how? I'm afraid there are some facts you are going to have to face. She puts on a grave face. You are alone in this country. No network, no money, no identity. I can protect you from the police, but how would you go about discovering what happened to Raymond without me? How would you survive? Calmly wipes her hand across a stack of tiles, spreading the ivory-colored pieces across the table. You've had a very long night, my sweets. Very long. And frankly, you all look like shit. Rest now, and I promise you safety in my town for the night. We'll talk about the plastic-faced man tomorrow. Kindly gestures to Gobbet and Isabel. Ladies, go find our new friends a place to bed down in that rat's nest squat boat you call home. We'll talk after you've slept, figuring out our next steps together. Yes, Auntie. Yes, Auntie. Can I ask a question, Auntie? No questions, my darling. Sleep. I'll figure out what to do with you in the morning. Sleep, Poppy, sleep. Let's go, Pikel. I'm beat to hell. Yeah, remember that in the last episode or the episode before that where we found that boat thing? Yeah, that's where they kind of hang out. Oh, well. Hopefully I don't get seasickness. No time for runners now. I have other business to attend to. All right. Time to find a boat. Now, when Auntie Cheng or Kindly Cheng or Auntie or whatever says sleep, keep that in mind. Like, that's actually important over the course of the game. To sleep every time you get a chance. Make sure you always sleep after missions or whatever. That's, like I said, very important. I'll go over that later, but just remind yourself that that's a thing. So, yeah, we can kind of run around town if we want to. There's like a new guy right there, but let's sleep first and then we'll talk to everyone in the morning. That'll unlock a lot of stuff when we do that. So, and we can also get a look at our new bedding. All right, there's home away from home, I guess. You two can bunk here for a while. Or wrong voice. You two can bunk here for a while. She nods with her nose towards a hatch. You've got a head to take care of your necessities. Try to knock before you enter someone else's, okay? Seriously? I know the drill. Wu turns to you. Stinks of fish, just like that place we squatted at Leary Avenue back when we were kids. The one with that Aslanti family and their dog. You hated that dog. He kept digging out my food stash, no matter where I hid it. He'd find it and scarf down a week's worth of grub. He wipes his nose with a gloved hand. Still, it was sad what happened to him and the family. No one should go out that way. He stretches and his spine pops like a handful of firecrackers. I think I've been up for something like 36 hours straight. He drops his arms, and this has been one shit stain of a day. Time to end it. The orc turns to you, raised an eyebrow. Anything, anything you need before I leave you to it? Is it just you and Isabel living here? Yeah. Gobbet's mouth screws up a bit. Now that Nightjar and Gutshot are gone, it's just us. The squeal of a metal grinding on metal rips through the boat. Sounds like it's coming from the level below. And the creepy Russian guy renting the engine room downstairs. Nothing to worry about. He mostly keeps to himself. She checks her PDA. He'll stop soon. He usually is quiet by now. Is there a place for my stuff? Yeah, check the locker over there. You can stash your stuff in it. No one will touch your things in there, and it's a lot bigger than it looks. Because you can... The joke is you can put anything in there, basically. How'd you get your hands on this place? How do people like us get our hands on anything? We found it. You found it empty? He sweeps his eyes across the cabin. The doubt is plain on his face. Somebody abandoned a prime piece of real estate like this. She shrugs. Close enough. It was full of BTL junkies when we came across it. BTL is better than life. It's a simulation thing you can put in your brain and keeps you feeling the good life. They were completely wigged out on some multiplayer cyber game. I'm not sure that they ever chipped out of it. They were completely emaciated, stewing in piles of their own shit. Their eyes had sunk into their skulls. Pretty gruesome stuff. They racked up a killer score, though. True, they had the moves. Should have hung an IV while they were playing, though. Turns out nutrition is important. So what happened? Did they die? She shrugs. Nightjar ran him out. Not sure what happened to him after that. Anyway, it's ours now. Andy Chang says so. But all but the engine room, you mean? Right, everything but that. Andy rented it out from under us. That must have pissed you off. She shrugs. Whatever, we weren't using it. As long as our downstairs neighbor keeps to himself, he can have the lower levels, especially if it keeps Andy Chang happy. I'm gonna grab some sack time, or I think I'll have a look around. Okay, but get some sleep soon. You look like you could use it. We'll go see Kindly in the morning, figure out our next move. You can talk to people, but there's not really much to say right now just because it's that point. You'll eventually have a chance to talk to him, but most of them will have like some pretty just basic dialogue. So there's our room right there. There's Duncan's room. Hey, Pikel, I got some things I gotta take care of here. Let's talk later. Yeah, most of them will say that, but we'll go over. We'll talk to them just to get that general dialogue. Here's Isabel's room. Come back later, Wiggles. I'm busy. There's no way we're going to take this playthrough seriously because I called myself Wiggles. Hey, Seattle, I'm not really in the mood to hang out right now. Heavy stuff going down, you know. I'll be fine, but for time being, I'd rather be alone. We'll talk later, though. Well, I mean, she's not really alone. She's with her rats. So, you know. But anyway, let's go to sleep. No. Oh, yeah, and there's our locker if you want to store anything inside of it. Yeah, you can just throw anything in the locker. But yeah, we're not gonna worry about that for now. Alright, let's go to bed. Sleep. A chance to dream. A day and night without sleep would be hazardous. The cot in your cabin was neatly made with crisp-looking sheets and an insulated plastic blanket. A fine layer of dust coats its surface. It's been a long time since anyone slept here. Go to sleep. You climb into the cot and worm your way under the sheets. They've been stretched stiff as boards, but you slept beneath worse. The lice and the bedbugs that plagued your old prison cell are mercifully absent here, and the salt air is fresher than the rancid stink of the Redmond Barrens. The moment your head hits the pillow, exhaustion sets in. You can barely keep your eyes open. Sleep washes over you like a warm bath, and everything goes black. Well, that was a weird dream. What the heck? Did we smoke something before we went to bed? Man, odd. The dream is suffocating. The shifting tunnel of glass and steel, the towering silhouette of dark majesty, the shadowy doorway, and the teeth. They snap at your heels as you draw your way back to consciousness. You open your eyes to Duncan looming over you. He shakes your shoulder roughly. Pikel! Come on, Pikel, wake up. We gotta go talk to Kindly. The others have already left. Was I drooling? He lets go of your shoulder and smirks. You were sucking your thumb pretty hard. Old habits die hard. Like you being late? He lets go and cocks a thumb at the hatch. We gotta go. I've been trying to wake you for a while now. You were thrashing around in your sleep. Glad you did. I was having one hell of a nightmare. He reaches up and rubs the back of his neck. Yeah, I didn't sleep well either. I had a bad dream last night. What about? He shrugs. I never remember my dreams all that well. It was probably motion sickness, not used to sleeping on a boat. I woke up a little while ago and hit the head. Then I came back and woke you. You doing okay? I'll survive. His fingers hit a knot. He winces. But man, nothing's gone right since we stepped foot in this country. Just like in real life. No. I'll tell you something though. This is after a full night's sleep. I don't believe Ray's dead. What makes you say that? Think about it. That statement from the cops on the newscast could be fake. Ours was. And that surveillance footage. We never saw Raymond get shot. The camera was hit by stray gunfire. His passion is intense, but contained. Focus. Raymond's alive, Pikel. I know it. What do you want to do? Well, you make a good case, Officer Wu. He smiles. His teeth are white and straight and perfect. Should have been a detective instead of a headbuster, right? His smile fades. God, I feel like I'm 12 years old again, squatting on a stinking trawler. My partner's gone. Raymond's gone. Hell, I'm gone. I don't even have a name anymore. And now I can't even go to sleep and hide from it all without having a nightmare. His jaw tightens and his teeth grind so loud you can hear it. What else is going to be taken away from me? Well, you still have that piercing you got in Tacoma? I had to drop that. Hygiene issues. Wu struggles to smile. He fails. What the hell did we fall into here, Pikel? I mean, what's coming next? Well, isn't it obvious? Look around. We're sinless, living in the shadows, dealing with criminals. Wu is silent for a moment. All you get back is a blank expression. You're thinking of becoming a Shadowrunner. He says it without a judgment, just a statement of fact. I think we already are Shadowrunners. I think. He stops and crosses his arm, considers. I think this whole thing's been a blur. I haven't been able to really stop and think for a second. He shakes his head slowly, lets out a groan. This isn't the way it's supposed to be. I'm supposed to be a cop. Well, and I want a pony, but we play the cards we're dealt. He drops his hands to his hips and takes a couple of deep breaths. That's right. It's like we always said. Shut up, Duncan, and let Pikel do the talking? He chuckles finally. I don't remember Raymond saying that. He said it under his breath. A lot. Don't mess with me, man. You know I've got anger management issues. He checks his watch. Gobbin and Isabel left a while ago. We should get going, too. See what that triad lady has to say. Alright, let's go check Kindly Chang again while we're... Yeah. We've got Duncan with us. Alright, now let's go talk to Kindly Chang again, and then we'll deal with everything in town. Alright. Miss Chang? What the? Who's that? Kindly Chang reeks of stale cigar smoke and fresh urine. The clicking of mahjong tiles is strangely absent. In its place, a low murmur of laughter and an air of eager anticipation. All eyes are focused on the groaning figure kneeling bloody and bound at the feet of Kindly Chang. She beckons at him with her finger, and he struggles towards her. The loud rustling of the plastic tarp crackling under his knees as he moves. His pants are wet with fear. An acetylene torch lies on the table at Chang's right hand. Kindly Chang ignores the scene. She behaves as if it is all right in the world. How did you sleep, my little ones? Like a baby, Auntie. I'm still in the afterglow of our tour of the walled city. The triad boss's eyes turn to half-moons of amusement. Afterglow? Really? She nods her head back towards the pillar of meat standing behind her. Then you should be delighted to say hello to your old friend, Stranger Bao. He's here because of you. What's up, Beef? Strangler Bao's eyes widen until they are more white than color, the raw hatred written there. Chang's demeanor changes in a heartbeat. Her amused expression drops like acid rain. Mr. Bao is an honored member of the Yellow Lotus, whereas you are an outsider. Her head pushes forward on her neck. A disposable outsider. Well then, now that the niceties are over, let's get to the nasties. She indicates the kneeling man with an incline of her nose. Shitbird here is a plainclothes cop. He snuck into the area last night while we were sleeping, hoping to find you and kill you before his competition got to you first. My men found him outside the trawler you were sleeping on. They saw to it that your arrest was undisturbed and that your location remained a mystery. She nods her head back towards the pillar of meat standing behind her. You can thank Mr. Bao for that. So you're the night watchman now, buddy? Thanks. The muscles in Strangler Bao's thick neck ripple and his eyes go, I will kill you wide. He takes a half step forward before regaining control of himself. Canley Cheng makes direct eye contact with you and holds it tight. Mr. Bao would be treated with respect. I will not warn you again. She addresses the bloody man on his knees again. Forgive the interruption. She addresses the bloody man on his knees. Now, Shitbird, tell my friends here what you told me. I don't know anything, I swear. We just got the orders last night. He pushes his head towards you and Wu from the floor, struggling to keep his balance. Somebody high up wants these two dead. The whole department is on it. I don't know anything else. Someone from high up? The old woman lifts her foot, taps his chin with the toe of her shoe. How high? Didn't expect to see foot fetishes in this game. The cop looks up at her, looks around at the room filled with triad soldiers. One of them opens his coat and shows the cop something inside. He closes it slowly and winks. The cop drops his head to his chest. All the way up. It's someone on the council. Someone on the executive council wants these two dead? Cheng spits on him with a sneer. Fuck your ancestors to the 18th generation. Give me the truth. The cop wears the spittle. He never lifts his head. It's the truth, madam. I swear it. Whoever was labeled them as terrorists, we're to terminate with extreme prejudice. Kindly Cheng shuffles closer to the kneeling cop, reaches down and strokes his head with her hand. Then she slowly digs her fingernails into the scalp. She pulls back hard until his chin points high. The triad boss leans in close and searches his eyes with her own. That's all he's got. She lets go of his head and smooths his buzz-cut hair with her hand. For whatever reason, last night, someone on the Executive Council of the Free Enterprise Zone ordered the Hong Kong police force to kill two nobodies from Seattle. I find that interesting, don't you? I call that story messed up shit. Seattle isn't like Hong Kong. There, the megacorps control the government. Here, the corps are the government. The exec council is chosen by the corporate board of governors. They're basically the legislative and executive branches of the Hong Kong government in one tiny package. 8 people call all the shots, neat and efficient. Conley Cheng steps back from the cops and lights one of her thin black cigars. For the wage slaves and civilian chief, the corporations are a pantheon of gods who wield absolute power. She looks around the room, but not for us. The triad woman takes a long pull from her cigar and taps her ash on the kneeling cop's head. Who else knows about my guest visit to Hoy, Shitbird? No one, madam. I hadn't called it in yet. I wanted to kill them for myself. No one knows they're here, I swear it. She turns to her enforcer. Mr. Bao? Bao fiddles with the PDA in his meaty hands. He's telling the truth. No outgoing calls on his PDA. Very good. Thank you, Bao. She nods at the cop. Thank you for your honesty. With one smooth motion, Strangler Bao produces a silenced pistol, fires at once at the policeman's head, and replaces it in his jacket. His face never changes expressions. Well, at least he went out cold. What the hell, man? That was a cop. Chang takes a drag on her cigar. I know, my darling. Now he's a silent cop. She balances her cigar in her shot glass, picks it up with some mahjong tiles, and begins playing with them absently. It's clear our friend Raymond Black was up to something involving the walled city, something having to do with prosperity. And this executive council member wanted Raymond dead for sure. She stacks her tiles one by one. Click, clack. Now they want you dead for it too. Click. This plastic-faced man may show up on your door one day too. She knocks the pile over and it clatters to the table loudly. I have a proposal for you, my sweets. A smile lights up on her dead black eyes. Works for me. With Nightjar and Gutshot dead, I find myself with 2 job openings. Fill them. I need a deniable asset here. Players unaffiliated with the Triads who can take care of some of the more unsavory business needs about town. You've proven yourselves resourceful, and you have no existing connections here. That can be a positive in this line of work. See, Duncan, I knew it. She wants us to become Shadowrunners. Yep, saw that coming. In exchange, I will keep you safe from pests like this one. She nods at the body on the floor. The pool of blood on the plastic wrap continues to widen. You'll have safe harbor here in my town and a steady source of income. She picks up a handful of towels again. And while you dip your toe into the waters of corporate espionage, organized crime, and clandestine mercenary actions, I'll employ my network to find the plastic-faced man and gather information about Raymond Black. Where he's been to, who he's talked to, who stood to gain from his death, and what his prosperity could be. And what's in it for you? Besides the money and the benefits of helping others in my community, I need to learn who's killed one of my clients and then ordered the cops to execute my team of Shadowrunners. Her voice drops and she becomes deadly serious. This is a brazen disregard of my power. Face dictates it must be confronted or stand to lose everything. We're Westerners. Isn't that liability in this business? Oh no, on the contrary. There's a good market for out-of-town talent that's just waiting to be exploited. Plus you're unknown. A surprise, if you will. I find the right jobs for people with your talents. You do what our clients cannot do for themselves. I take a finder's fee and a small percentage of your earnings. You make a lot of Nuyen very quickly. It's all very civilized. It's all for a different civilized time. She leans in. Works with me. Allow me to help you make money, lay my network work for you, and you help find out what you've gotten yourselves into. Without my help, you won't last a day out there. You are completely out of your depth, I'm afraid. You'll need a partner. Kindly Chen will be your partner. Wu's hand goes to his hips. He drops his head and shakes it a little, amused. It was just like you said, Pikel. Shadowrunners. Glad I had some time to think about it. Process. He grips his back. He grips the back of his neck, squeezes hard, rips his hand away. Ah, fuck it. I'm not a cop anymore. That guy's dead. He nods. The decision made. I'm in. What about you? Yeah. I'm in until I can clear my name and get the hell out of Hong Kong. If I thought that Raymond was dead, I agree with you, but he's not. Raymond is alive, I'm sure of it. So I'll run the shadows as long as Auntie Chen keeps up her end of the bargain and helps us figure out what's really happening to him. Then I'm going to find my father. Then it's done. Heyo is now open to you. She gestures to her lieutenant, who raises a finger to her ear and whispers into her sleeve. First order business, Wiggles here has already chosen a street name. She turns her attention to Wu, but Duncan Wu doesn't exist anymore. You need one too. Wu sighs. Yeah, okay, I'll think of something. Gobbet runs her cheek against her rat's tail, a glint in her eye. I think we already got you covered, Gun Show. She turns to Isabel. Fits, doesn't it? Indeed. I knew that was going to stick. It has stuck. Gobbet and Isabel will handle this the same way we did with all your previous work. She didn't say Nightjar. All the jobs I line up for you will be sent to your computer on the squat boat. She's pointing at you. My computer? I'm not the leader type. You are now. My process of elimination. She points to the little decker. Isabel isn't the leader type. You got that right. She moves her finger to the orc girl. As for Gobbet, let's just say Gobbet doesn't have a head for business. Not my thing. And then she rests her finger on Wu. And then there's the Gun Show. She wiggles it. The jury's out on Mr. Gun Show. Meaning? Her response is direct, straightforward. Meaning there's a lot going on in that head of yours right now. Not sure I can trust you. Gun Show will be fine, trust me. Kindly Chen makes eye contact with you and holds it. She keeps it steady for a long time. Wu doesn't notice. Don't worry, I'll be cool, Pikel. Yeah, okay, let's see. Yeah, I had a handle back in the Barrens, Wiggles. Guess it's time to stuff, even though I just told her that I was Wiggles. So that doesn't really work. Okay, then, guess I'm running the show. Wu shakes his head, eyebrows raised. Gonna be weird calling you Wiggles again. Haven't called you that since we were kids. Gobbet looks from Isabel to Wu to you. I guess this is our new crew. The rat on her shoulder scurries to the top of her head for a better view. Welcome to the shadows, Wiggles. Well, welcome, Shadow and Gobbet and Duncan becoming the Gun Show. Kindly regards you coldly and lifts one of her hands in a dismissive way. As much as I love your company, I have business to attend to. Clear the hell out of here and go get settled in. All right. Now, with that out of the way, we can now check the Heoi officially. As you lead your team through the shadows, your companions will continue to develop and learn new combat skills. Clicking the icon in the lower right corner of the screen will open the crew advancement menu. When this icon is highlighted, one or more of your companions is eligible to learn a new combat skill. At each advancement level, you may choose one of two possible combat skills for each runner. Choose wisely. Alright, we'll do that later. I'm not going to do that right this second. But now that we've talked to Chang in the parlor, all these new places are now available and open. Let's talk to everyone while we're here. Reliable Matthew. Smooth jazz drifts from cheap speakers on the barge. A wide array of worn-down drones litter the battered deck. Most of are utility and domestic types, but few cordoned off from the others are low-end security models. The salesman smiles indulgently at you, a tall, lanky human of clear Cantonese ancestry. He's wearing a cheap suit and limply clutching a smelly cigarillo. He adjusts his tie with an exaggerated, nonchalant, languid ostentatiousness, like an American casino promoter. Hey there, beautiful. Welcome to my little floating heaven. You got a discerning look to you. What brings you Reliable Matthew's Robot Bazaar? He taps Ash over a bulky cleaning drone beside him, not waiting for an answer. He continues. Perhaps you're looking for a helicopter as a guide to Hong Kong, or a little handheld tarantula beauty. Brew your tea. Are you calling me beautiful? You know it, beautiful. I hope I don't offend. I just can't help it. To me, everybody's beautiful, baby. Knock that off. Sigh, I just can't help myself. It is who I am. You're Reliable Matthew? That's right, Reliable Matthew, shun at your service. He extends his hand to shake. The odors of peach-scented moisturizer and stale tobacco smoke washes over you. How about it? Yeah, shake his hand. Pleasure to meet you, Reliable Matthew. Always, always. Welcome to our little patch of peace on the river. I think you really love Haley. It's just a fantastic place. Well, now that you're acquainted, maybe I can brighten up your day a bit. What's your robot list, friend? Interested in your combat models. Reliable Matthew looks over his shoulder at the security drones and some heavily cannibalized in the corner of the yard. He turns back to you with a nervous smile. Funny you should ask. I've just gotten a Doberman that I'm selling at an incredibly bargain price. Shall we take a look? Yeah, let's look at the security drones. All of them. But unfortunately, I'm not a decker. I'm not a decker or a rigger. This is for riggers, by the way. I can't afford any of this stuff. But, depending on what your drone control is, you might be able to buy certain ones of these. They all have different stats and all different types of abilities. Like Robodocs have the ability to heal you in combat, that type of thing. Assault ones will have different weapons, stuff like that. So just kind of look over your drones and just kind of see if you're playing a rigger and see what you want to choose. Don't have any basic suggestions. It really just kind of depends on your party makeup, like what you want to buy. But usually assault drones are pretty solid. Maybe a sniper one. But anyway, incredible bargains, huh? They fall off the back of the truck. Oh, sorry. He said like old songs. They stay in style or something like that. Sorry, I accidentally forgot to read his extra dialogue. Are you implying that they're stolen? If so, you're mistaken. He smiles indulgently as if you just said something in an alien language. This merchandise is provided only by trusted suppliers who certify the authenticity and workability of their goods. I don't furnish manufacturer certificates, but all the providers are really top-shelf guys, really beautiful people. Otherwise, I wouldn't carry their drones. Where do these trusted suppliers get them? Where do fans, prawns, and soy chips come from? Or Lucy's lovely textiles? Or the electricity for the lights? Reliable Matthew sweeps his arm expansively out the heavens, trailing a stream of blue cigarello smoke. And where do we get this glorious bluebird sky? Matthew takes a big breath, staring rapturously at the gray clouds. He looks back down at you. His expression goes flat. He shrugs limply and speaks in monotone for a moment. There's smugglers and fences. I don't know where they get their drones. Do these suppliers certify the untraceability of their goods? Absolutely. He proudly taps the As Technology logo emblazoned on a housework model beside him. Most of them are genuine knockoffs. Any IDs are stripped, but most were never registered in the first place. Can I be a supplier if I have a spare drone? Well, it's very exclusively processed. You need to be a member of the community in good standing, have good reference, and pass a background check. He smiles widely. His eyes seem to twitch over you nervously. Or if all you have is a drone, I can work with you. Sounds good to me. But yeah, anyway. Alright, think I understand that. Or see. Great! He twirls a cigarette in his fingers. Let's find you some quality little helpers. I think I understand the situation. Fantastic. I like to make sure all customers are thoroughly informed and feel completely comfortable with their purchases. Goodbye, Matthew. Yeah, we'll not really have to worry about this for a bit. So, oh yeah, here's the symbol for the abilities, by the way, for those who didn't know. Alright, let's talk to Jen over here. As you approach the small landing, you see 3 men, 2 elders and a younger man, lurched over a go board. The juxtaposition of the 2 white-haired, white-bearded men and the black-haired man is almost comical. Together the 3 resemble the small black and white stones of their game. Despite the variety of ambient distractions, the 3 men remain acutely focused on the game. One of the elders, a round-faced man with a beautiful smile, carefully picks up a black stone and places it on the board. His opponent snorts, and a small smile flashes across his long face. Almost carelessly, he snatches a white stone and deposits it on the board. The smiling man groans, and the long-faced one proceeds to collect several black pieces off the board. "Ah, you got me there, Jin." He laughs, a pleasant full sound as it trails off. He spots you watching the game. A broad smile brightens his cheeks. "Well, hello, young man. Something you need." The long-faced man gives you a cursory look and continues to look back. Stones. Just a cocker shoe. It's your turn. Name's Wiggles. Got a second to answer a question or two? I could use a short break. How about you, Jen? Fine, a short break. Jen sighs, shoulders slumping forward. After a moment of scowling, reluctantly speaks. Sorry, I don't know why I skipped that. Fine, a short break. The 2 elders turn towards the younger man. He looks to be in his early 30s, but it's difficult to tell. The skin on his face is smooth and supple, with only the suggestion of creases at the eye, mouth, and forehead. But small gestures, a blink, a flare of his nostrils, briefly reveal the lines of his face. The man's eyes rise from the go board and study the elders. He nods. I've been hearing some strange dreams here in Hawaii. Have you had any nightmares recently? The 3 men exchange looks. Shu turns to you. What a coincidence. Wasn't but an hour ago that we were all discussing that very thing. We've been having bad dreams, every one of us. Interesting. You mind sharing? Jin shakes his head and crosses his arms. What makes you think we'd be comfortable sharing our dreams with a complete stranger? Seems like a good way to get ourselves in trouble, specifically with what you kids can do with that matrix you all love so much. He turns his head, pretends to spit. Peh! Shu waves his hand dismissively at Jin. Don't mind him. He's always been a poor sport. But he raises a good point. Some of our dreams contain information best left private, just as yours do. I'm sure, having just met, how can we be so sure that you'll respect our personal information? I'll tell you. The younger man's voice cuts through the den like a razor, and the elders fall silent. He turns to you and locks his eyes, dark orbs that burn with piercing scrutiny into yours. He nods and returns his gaze to the go board. I believe you're trustworthy. Please, Wiggles, make yourself comfortable. I'll share my dream with you. I appreciate it. Go ahead. He exhales slowly, then begins speaking. I dreamed of a long, dingy hall. When faced with such a thing, one generally walks its length. So I lifted my right foot and placed it in front of me. But upon taking that first step, I found myself instead drawn down an alleyway to my left. It wasn't there before, this alley. It appeared only as I began to walk. As I moved through the alley, I found myself surrounded by friends and loved ones. They all stood there, silently watching me with smiles on their faces, and as I passed to each one of them, they fell to the ground in my wake, dropping like puppets with severed strings. Somehow I knew that if I followed the road to the end, I could have everything I ever dreamed of, but I woke before I could reach it. He folds his hands in his laps. There's a moment of silence before Shu speaks up. The rosiness of his chinks haven't drained away. I too saw the long hall. Time giving the same voices. I too saw the long hall. My own experience was different, however. The hall was far off in the distance. I was looking down on it from a strange angle, as though I was perched on a wall high above. He pauses and looks at you. You know, young man, Wiggles, you look very much like the person I saw walking that hall. He moves steadily down the path, walking at an even pace, and just behind him a great and terrible shadow followed. Well, of course, I don't have the best view up there on the wall, or whatever it was. It could have been anything. Perhaps this old mind of mine is seeing your face now and misremembering the dream. He lets out a chuckle, and a small flush of red returns to his cheek. He looks over at Jin. All right, Jin, go ahead. Jin broods in his corner, arm crossed and jaw set. I changed my mind. I don't want to share my dreams. Nonsense, Master Lau and I have both told him our dream, and now it's your turn. Jin sticks out his lower lip. No. It's fine. You don't have to tell me you don't want to. He holds his palm up toward you and looks at Shu. See? Straight from the horse's mouth. I don't have to. Jin? Lau's voice is firm but soft. This is important. Jin's mouth opens and closes like a gasping fish, but as he looks at Lau, his body relaxes and a sadness seems to take hold of his features. All right. But don't you go repeating any of this, you hear me? He takes a deep breath and slowly releases it, folds his hands in his lap. My dreams begin as a nightmare. I dream of the failures and mistakes that I've made throughout my life. The people I've let down, the competitors I've crushed, the wife who died in hospice without me. I dream of the family that I abandoned. A change comes over him. His eyes brighten and he continues energetically. But then, I dreamed of the walled city. I stood before it and its doors opened to me, and when I passed inside, all my gut fell away. It was as though the city had absolved me and had washed away my guilt. I remember feeling happy. As his remembrance ends, so does his lighthearted mood. His face shrinks into a pout, and he stares grumpily at the ground. There, I did it. You happy? Lau nods slowly. Thank you, Jen. Thank you, Jen. All it said does is pretty boring. No. That was great. Don't worry, I won't abuse your personal information. Promise. Yeah. Now we can we change the subject? My ulcer's acting up. I'm guessing you've been around these parts longer than I have. Is this sort of thing normal? If it were normal, we wouldn't be huddled around discussing them in whispers now, would we? Well, enough of that, Jen. Wiggles here asked in earnest of our advice. He deserves a proper response. Shu gives you a gentle smile. Please forgive our friend. Bitter years have left him suspicious of others. The answer to your question is no. Upsetting dreams have never been uncommon in Hoi, but these recent visitations have been different. They've been darker, more vivid, stronger than normal dreams. Last night I felt consumed by the sense that something was coming. While my friends here felt a sense of relief and excitement as their dreams ended, I felt as though I was sitting on the precipice of some vast and terrible chasm with the void yawning beneath my feet. Suddenly his cheeks flush. He blinks twice and then looks away. But perhaps these are just the ravings of an old man. Please forgive me. He scratches his nose, embarrassed. You speak wisely, Shu. It is foolish to embrace a thing that you do not understand. What Jin and I saw in our dreams was alluring, but so it is the light to a moth. Your instincts are just still strong and sharp, my old friend. It is wise of you to trust them. Shu bows deeply, his eyes to the ground. Ah, thank you. I can only hope that these dreams do lead to something beautiful. There's already enough deception in this world. Jin groans lightly. And we bit back to the game now. Now looks like break's over. It seems that way. Stop by again sometime, Wiggles. Thanks. Good luck with your game. Appreciate it, young man. We'll be seeing you. Sorry, I started mixing their voices. It's because we're not going to talk to them too much, so, But anyway, so it looks like we're now officially Shadowrunners, and the Hoi is just a part of our playground now, and we got a couple of new companions for it. So, what else awaits us in Hoi? Who can we talk to now? And what do our new companions have to say about this? And will the man from below the ship actually show his face to talk to us? Find out next time in the next episode of Shadowrun Hong Kong. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.